Those who have ears to hear, let them listen. Are you tired? That's a genuine question. I'm curious. Are you tired? Are you tired of mental struggles? Are you tired of what's going on in the world? Are you tired, maybe physically even? Are you tired mentally, emotionally, spiritually? I got an answer for you, and that answer is Jesus. And before you scroll thinking like, oh, somebody trying to win me over to religion, Christianity is not just religion. Yes, it's a church and it's somewhere you go to, but it's the keys to life. It honestly is. If you believe that there's a God, if you believe that there is something that created this universe, there's a specific design for how life works, because obviously we see how it can be corrupted. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news right now. Crazy stuff. We see the corruption. We see how evil it is. There's a design for how things should work. And when you read this book, you figure that out. I began realizing that Jesus is real. I grew up as a pastor's kid. I didn't think he was real. I didn't. I saw my parents serving in the church. I saw myself going to church every Sunday, and all of our lives just going downhill in so many ways. And I was thinking, how could this happen to people who are good? So I was like, oh, he just doesn't exist. Or if he does exist, he probably just doesn't care. But here's the thing. Life is like one giant river, okay? We're all kind of like fish swimming down that river. But the thing is, we don't know that we're headed towards a waterfall. And that waterfall dropped off into hell. Hell and heaven, those are two very real places. You don't just go black. You don't become orbs of energy. There is a heaven and there's a hell. There's a reason why our ancestors were obsessed with the afterlife. Because it's real. Okay? There is a heaven and there's a hell. And so we're all like fish and we're all going down to hell. It's just true. No one is good enough to make it to heaven. It's impossible. But as soon as you accept Jesus and want to figure out what he's all about, it's kind of like you realize, oh, that's upstream. I got to turn around. And guess what? That doesn't make everything easy. Swimming upstream is a lot more difficult. It truly is. Life is not going to get instantly better. And the thing is, with Christians who are listening to this right now, sometimes you got to just keep swimming, because guess what? If you're not swimming forward and you're just facing like upstream, the current's pushing you back. So you got to make an active effort every single day to be swimming upstream. You're not going to be perfect at it. Some days you're going to get smacked in the face by a fishtail, or I don't know. I'm getting too carried away with the analogy, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's an active struggle every single day to try to do right. Psalm 77 captures this perfectly. I just want to read this to you. And if you've ever watched The Chosen, this is what Eden gets read to her after she has her miscarriage. It's a beautiful song. I cried out to God for help. I cried out to God to hear me. When I was in distress, I sought the Lord. At night, I stretched out my untiring hands, and I would not be comforted. I remembered you, God, and I groaned. I meditated, and my spirit grew faint. Will the Lord reject me forever? Has God forgotten to be merciful? Has he in anger withheld his compassion? That's what life feels like so often. That's what life feels like, to the point where people don't want to even put their faith into Jesus, don't even want to put their faith into God. That's what makes people leave the faith. That's what made me leave the faith. It's what people experience and makes them start to lose hope. And I'm going to tell you something. Faith and hope go hand in hand, because you have faith for something that you're hoping for, right? If you have hope that you ordered something in the mail that you're excited about, and then you have hope that it's going to be delivered, you're having faith in that thing that it's going to be delivered, right? Because you never know. The mail truck could be robbed or so I don't know what I'm saying, but it's an active relationship. They go hand in hand, right? So you're hoping in going to heaven. That's what you put your faith in. And so then you can have hope for that. So the gospel in and of itself is a thing to hope on. But then as you're going upstream in life and it's difficult, what happens when you start to lose hope? Because oftentimes they'll just tell you, oh, just have more hope, have more faith. And that's so difficult, because it's not something that you can act like. If you've ever struggled with depression before, like somebody just like, oh, just forget about it. Don't think about it too much. That doesn't help at all. It just makes you feel like you're crazy or you're weak and incapable compared to other people. And it just isolates you in your mental prison even more. But guess what? Then I thought to this, I will appeal to the years when the Most High stretched out his hand. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I'll remember your miracles of long ago. I will consider all your works and meditate on your mighty deeds. God never changes. He has been the same since day one, and he will be the same long after we're gone. And if you believe we're in end times, he's still going to be the same in the end times. There's no difference between Old Testament God and New Testament God. What he was doing, he was preparing the Israelites for the Messiah. It was all just leading up to Christ. But then they couldn't get rid of their jealousy. They couldn't snap out of, no, this is how it's supposed to be done. And I can understand that. I really can. If like you lived your entire life being told these certain things, and then all of a sudden you just gotta switch, that'd be a hard switch to make, right? But that's the same switch that we have to make right now, today. Accept Jesus and actively actually do something about that decision. If you just say, I accept Jesus, and then continue to live however you want, are you truly saved? Paul says that you're truly saved when you can see the results. And not when you're faking it. Not when you put on a mask to go into church. That's the worst thing you could do. If you're struggling, go to church struggling. That's the hospital for your spirit. Tell someone you're struggling. They will be glad to pray for you. They'll be glad to give you advice and help out in any way they can. And also what it says is, remember the stories, right? So that's why I was saying this. He's still the same. He's still the same God that inspired David to take down Goliath. He's the same God who quieted the mouths of the lions when Daniel was in the den and didn't even leave a scratch on him. Same God who helped Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they were thrown into fire and they came out of it not even smelling like smoke. That's insane. He still has that power today. And people say, oh, well, I want to see a burning bush experience. I want to see God move in some miraculous way. Yeah, I think everybody does. But remember what he said to Thomas, or maybe you don't know, but what he said to Thomas after came back from the dead. Thomas said, I'm not going to believe that the Messiah, that Jesus came back from the dead unless I could put my fingers through the hole on his hand. Jesus let him. But then he said, because you've seen, you believe. But blessed are those who do not see and still believe. We're in a higher position than those guys. Those guys had to be led by the hand through it. And guess what? He's going to lead you by the hand through the works of the Holy Spirit. We're invited to a relationship with God that Moses, Elijah, all the prophets in the Old Testament could only dream about because we're post-Jesus. And he's inviting you into that. And it's beautiful. It truly is. He designed everything. He knows how it's all supposed to work. So trust him and know that he is a good God. You might think he's not good because of all these things that are going wrong in the world. But guess what? We live in an imperfect world. This world is not how he designed it to be, but there will come a time where it will. And he wants you to be a part of that new world. He wants you to be a part of heaven. Everything has a reason for it. And that's easy to say, but when you're going through hard things, it's not easy to understand right now. But God exists outside of time. He sees it all. There's a purpose for everything, and that doesn't mean that we get to know the purpose. Our little tiny feeble human brains don't really understand anything. Trust Jesus, and it all will be okay at one point. At some point, it's all going to be okay, I promise.